Then he was loaned at Sheffield United. Now, interestingly, Sheffield United want to buy him as well, but he chose us instead, which is really interesting because obviously they are a team that literally just missed out in the Premier League in the playoff final, didn't they? But he chose us. From what I read as well, he really wanted to come to us as well.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue, and Tommy Doyle has officially joined Birmingham City. He joins us from Wolverhampton Wanderers, and in this podcast, myself and Dad are going to talk about Tommy Doyle, his strengths, his weaknesses, where he might fit in, and what impact we see him having at Birmingham City this season. So Dad, Tommy Doyle, I think this is a great signing. What are your thoughts?
I'm amazed. I mean, in terms of not amazed that we can attract good players, but this is a really good player. I mean, he's 23 years old. And he's a central midfielder, so he's going to provide competition. Everybody thinks of Birmingham's midfield of Paik and Iwata as the established two, which is true. Yeah. This guy is going to give them competition, serious competition. He's a proper footballer, and all my research shows that he's going to be a real strong competition for them. He's not just going to be someone coming prepared to sit on the bench.
Yeah, he's a really technically gifted player, Dad. From what I've seen of him over the years, I really like Tommy Doyle. I think he's great. And, I remember early on in his career, I say early, he's still early, but when he was a teenager, people were comparing him to Steven Gerrard. And me and you have had a bit of banter on this podcast, Ed, when we've signed people and we've said Kevin De Bruyne or, I can't remember, Ronaldo or something, whoever we've made like crazy comparisons. People were legitimately saying this guy has the passing and the range of someone like Steven Gerrard. It was a genuine comparison. So, Steven Gerrard was an amazing player, so to even have that comparison is incredible. And from what I've seen, I can totally see why that comparison has been made. I think Steven Gerrard had a bit more of the defensive side of the game in his bag, but like Tommy Doyle with his technical passing, his set pieces, his ability to pass the ball, his playmaking ability, getting you on the transition from defence to attack. I can't wait to see him. I think he's going to be great, Dad.
He's going to be a good addition, isn't he? I mean, like you mentioned, so the strengths I've got, exactly what you've mentioned, which I think is fantastic for a midfielder, passing range and vision as well. I think we did lack that as well. As good as Paik and Iwata are, and they're fantastic midfield, we sometimes lacked that incisive decision-making, to make the right ball at the right time. Attributes for those two together is absolutely fantastic, but that is something that he will add, this vision that we often lacked, I think, last season in terms of making the wrong decisions at the wrong time.
I think that he offers different kind of passing as well. And I'm going to use this player as a reference. I'm sure some Blues fans will go, why are you using this? But it's just something we can all relate to. Do you remember pre-season last season when Deion Sanderson was just pinging those diagonals across the pitch? That kind of what Tommy Doyle can give you as well. He actually picks out a long range of pass, whereas I feel like Paik and Iwata, Paik especially, are more tiki-taka, short, fast, intense kind of burst of passing. Whereas if we think about how we're shaping up in our attacking side of the game ready for next season, he gives us a different outlet again. If we have a bit of pace on the wings or he has a bit of bravery where he can dink it through, he's going to give us that alternative of a bit more of a ranged pass as well. Yeah. But he still has that short passing in his locker as well. I said it's a really exciting signing. And what I like about him, Dad, as well, when I've seen him play, is he really controls the game. Yeah. You know one of those centre midfielders when you're watching him and you just feel confident he's completely controlling every element of the game through the midfield, the tempo, the speed of the game and the passing. And we've spoken last season, Dad, about Blues, and we just wanted a little bit more speed. Pass the ball a bit quicker and let's go at the teams. Tommy Doyle ain't going to mess around. If there's a risk versus reward ratio and he can go for it, I've got to mess that up there. Risk versus reward ratio, and it's decent enough, he will go for that brave pass.
Yeah. And you mentioned those range of passes, which I think is so important because that allows you to change the game completely. Absolutely. So where you might be sort of doing close, passes, trying to sort of keep possession and trying to sort of find your way around or probe. If you've got someone with the ability to see a long pass and to make that pass, it changes the game completely because it takes the opposition out of position, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it changes the whole dynamic. He's very, very composed on the ball from what I've seen as well. So he's not worried about being under pressure. So he's comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's comfortable when he's being put under pressure. And also as well, his set piece delivery is very good as well.
I've got that as well.
He's good at he'll be a good option for free kicks. Possibly corners, I don't know about that, but definitely for free kicks.
What I like about him as well, Dad, is for his age, he's very vocal. So I love it when the younger players kind of show captain material quite early. I'm not saying Tommy Doyle's going to come in and be our captain. I'm not saying that at all. I just mean he has that characteristic where he has that authority on the pitch. And I think when you're in the spine of the team, those positions, you have to be vocal, you
Yeah.
have to be aggressive. Well, you
Yeah.
have to have a couple of players in there.
That is the engine room
Exactly.
of the whole team, isn't it? So you need to have that person who, and it's a perfect position to see everything, isn't it? You know,
Exactly.
so and to be involved in everything where you need to be as well. He's got a good long shot on him as well. So you know, something we did do a little bit more of last season. I think we need to do a little bit more, even more this season in the championship as well. And again, like a lot of players, we do all our research on the players that are coming in, and like a lot of players, he's no different. His work rate and determination are also right up there as well.
And I think we might as well call it, as we're having the conversation about him, Dad, where do you see him fitting into our midfield? Because obviously we have two different types of centre midfielders at Blues, don't we? We have Paik, who is the kind of, I guess, a bit more closely aligned to Tommy Doyle, that controlling, short passing. And then we have Iwata, who's the disruptor, gets stuck in, he kind of breaks up play, don't he, sort of thing. So I guess it's a loaded question at this point, but Tommy Doyle is closer aligned to Paik, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, but it provide competition for Paik, and I think that I think it's good that we're doing this because we've seen in the goalkeeper. A little bit earlier we brought in James Beadle as a good competition for Ryan Allsop.
Depth.
Bringing in, that's the good word, Matt. Depth. So bringing in players like Tommy Doyle doesn't mean that he or Paik are number one. It means they're both fighting for the same position. He's versatile as well. He could play in other positions, but he's in terms of in the midfield, but he's much better in that role that you mentioned. You know, that sort of almost like a not really an enforcer. I see Iwata as more of an enforcer.
Yes, definitely.
But more of a creative
playmaker.
Playmaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at his transfer history. I'd say he's 32.
Oh.
I've just put 9 years. Sorry, Tommy. Oh, you're 23. We do. Glasses, sorry. He's 23 years old, and he's 1.72 meters. So he's round. He's about 5'11", something like 5'10". So he's not massively tall. But he's tall enough.
Average-ish, yeah.
He's tall enough. His transfer history is interesting. I mean, let's go through that because he's had a lot of loans. He's had an awful lot of loans. So we know that, it depends on how far you go back, really. So from the Manchester under-23s, they initially loaned him out to Hamburg in Germany. That was in 2021-22.
You said Manchester there, Dad. City or United?
Manchester City, yeah. You're right, because I'll upset a lot of people. Yeah, thanks, Matt, for pulling me up on that, yeah. It's like when you mention Sheffield, isn't it, and stuff like that. They're good. We can't confuse that with Birmingham, can you? Only one team in Birmingham. That's going to upset even more people. So it was originally loaned out to Hamburg in 21-22. Then he was loaned out to Cardiff the season after 21-22 as well. So the first half of the season it was Hamburg. Second half of that season it was Cardiff. Then he was loaned out to Sheffield United. Now, interestingly, Sheffield United want to buy him as well, but he chose us instead, which is really interesting because obviously they are a team that literally just missed out in the Premier League in the playoff final, didn't they? But he chose us. From what I've read as well, he really wanted to come to us as well.
Yeah. I believe that with the Sheffield United, the buy-on clause was too high for them. So again, it shows our finances and pulling power and money, you know.
So he was at Sheffield United. Did very well at Sheffield United. I'll talk about his stats in a minute as well. Then he went initially on loan to Wolves, and they eventually bought him. I've got a fee of £5 million. I think they bought him for, but
Sounds about right.
Probably is, isn't it?
Yeah, well?
But he's only bought by Wolves last July, so he's only been there a year. So I'm surprised. Well, Wolves are a Premier League team, and obviously, you know, they must have other options to want to sell him. So he comes to us then with some experience in the Wolves team. But just to show you the stats of who he's played for, he's actually played quite a few games for Wolves, surprisingly, because he was on loan initially. Don't forget, and then he bought them. So he played 58 games for Wolves, scored 2 goals and 1 assist, which is not fantastic. Manchester City under-23s, 50 games, 9 goals, 15 assists. Sheffield United, 38 games, 4 goals, 7 assists. Cardiff, 20 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. Hamburg only plays 7 games with 1 goal. But it's his experience that's the key thing.
I was going to say, I think with centre mids, Dad, yeah, fair enough. You do get some outrageous centre mids that score a load of goals and get a load of assists. But actually, again, remember on the previous conversation, we were talking about sometimes stats don't paint the full picture.
Yes.
Because stats don't show heart and desire and the ability to break up play or to put you on the transition, all these things. I mean, but when we look at goals and assists, I don't think that necessarily sometimes paints the full picture for a centre centre midfielder, does it? You know, it's
No, and it's a team game, isn't it? So,
Exactly.
if he's not getting the goals and assists, it doesn't mean to say he's not contributing them. So he's obviously, if he's winning the ball for somebody else to pass it to somebody for the assist,
exactly.
there's
He's
a lot
just
more,
as valuable as the person that
there's
puts
a
the
lot
ball in the
more
net.
behind a goal than just the assist and the goal, isn't there? In most cases.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's got good experience in the Championship. He's played 52 games, so he knows the Championship. He scored 5 goals and seven assists. He's played 51 times in the Premier League with only 1 assist. And then various FA Cup games, 13 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, etc. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing to suggest anything's wildly fantastic about his goals and assists, but there's enough in him to see that he can make a massive contribution to the team. He's also played for England at every level. Under 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21 suggests in the future he will be a full international at some point. He's played 13 times for the England under 21s, once for the under 20s, 5 times for the under 19s, and it goes back to all the various levels. He's played at every level at international level. As we know, he was at Wolves last season, so he has played in the Premier League. He didn't play from January the 4th onwards. He was either on the bench or not in the squad, and I suppose that's probably why Wolves have decided that he's probably not for them. He's just not getting enough game time, is he, with them? But he has played in the Premier League, and again, not many minutes, to be honest. He seems to have come on as a late substitute in most games. He did start at the beginning of the season. He played a few games. He played 90 minutes against Brighton, 63 minutes against Crystal Palace, 45 against Man City, but there's nothing beyond that apart from in minutes. So he hasn't had a huge amount of game time at Wolves, so obviously they've decided to cut the losses. He wants a new challenge. He's going to get that in the Championship with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't remember that the Premier League these days, it is such a big step up. It doesn't mean you can't be an outstanding Championship player or have a massive contribution in the tier just below it. And as I said, that I think he's going to be an integral part of this team moving forward, and I'm really excited by this one. We've had such an exciting year at this club in terms of the last summer transfer window, and we've got some great players. When Stano signed on the last day last year, it was all adrenaline and amazing. I'm really excited for this one. This one, for me, is in the top tier of the ones that we've bought so far under Nighthead's ownership.
I like this one as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a good sign. Well, so I see that heat map.
I was looking for a fly.
That's where you're going to put the heat map up on the thing. But I have obviously I've got a heat map which shows his contribution last season, based upon the fact he didn't play a huge amount of games. There is still a heat map there. But what it does show, and what you can see from the heat map, it shows that he's pretty much all over the pitch in the midfield, left and right and middle. So he's not. So what you'll find often with a lot of players is that their position dominates their heat map. So if they're on the right, they'll stay predominantly on the right. And it's red and orange.
Yeah.
But his is mainly yellow all over the midfield, with a little bit of red in the central midfield. So basically, he covers a lot of ground, this shows, which is what you want in that midfield. So again, we'd already talked about his energy and determination and things like that, and the heat map definitely demonstrates that. But bear in mind, when you're looking at that heat map, though, what you're looking at is a player that's played limited amount of time in the Premier League. I think if we would have gone back to where he's played a full season, we might see a slightly different heat map. But what it demonstrates to me, I do find the heat map very, very interesting. It does show me that he covers the whole pitch.
There you go.
So that's a great attribute to have, isn't it? But for me, fantastic signing. Really, really excited about this one.
In the interest of a balanced argument, Dad, some areas for improvement or where he openly admits he could improve in his game, it is the defensive contribution to the game, which is interesting because I've seen him have some really, really good defensive contributions. And not just the defensive contribution, but when he does get stuck in and he gets mucked in, I think I mentioned it earlier, he transitions you incredibly quickly. So you have to do the defensive work in order to get the transition going in the first place. But I think his off the ball and defensive side of the game could be stronger. I think even he's admitted that in interviews and about his own game. But every player has areas to improve in their game. There's no such thing as a perfect footballer, is there? So,
no.
However, even with that aside, this really is an incredible signing, and I can't wait. Any final thoughts, Dad? Or happy for me to close the video out?
No, like you said, Matt, we can't expect every player to be good at absolutely everything.
Exactly.
And with the team that we've got, if he has those positive attributes that we've said, then the ones that he needs to develop will be compensated with, like you can see, Iwata's there to break legs.
I just literally was about to say that.
So Iwata's not break legs, but Iwata's there to pick up, mop up, and do that type of thing. He'll learn that through playing with Iwata as well. So just fantastic sign. I'm really, really happy to have him here.
Absolutely. But as always, Birmingham City Supporters, we would love to hear from you. Are you as excited about this one as me and Dad? We really can't wait to see him down St.Andrews, getting that campaign kicked off. this season. But as always, if you did like this video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify where you can listen or watch us on that platform as well. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page, and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.